Hello and welcome to another edition of Bass Champs Doc Talk. An exciting week last week, Jeff. We announced the championship on Lake Texoma. Just give us a brief rundown about that again.
Yeah, Lake Texoma this October, Bass Champs Championship hosted out of West Bay Resort and Casino. Always a great host, always a great championship lake. Real excited to be there.
Yeah, West Bay does a great job hosting a Bass Champs event. I mean, last year was just amazing.
It was, and the lake always makes it interesting, and I think it's a really fair locale for the championship.
It is. It's a great place to have a championship. And if you have not fished a Bass Champs tournament yet this year, you can still qualify. Tell us how.
Yeah, we have 3 events left. We have Belton, Ray Roberts right after that, and the end of May we have Tawakoni. You just have to fish 3 to make the championship there on Lake Texoma in October. So 3 chances left.
And of course, coming up this weekend, Lake Belton, we've got a special guest. I'm not going to say his name yet because I'm real excited to talk to him about it. He's going to give us a lake breakdown, but kind of give us the gist of Belton and how takeoff is going to go, when registration is, where the park is we're going out of, in case people want to come down and fish that have never been there before.
Yeah, we're on Lake Belton. We're going out of Temple Lake Park, same park we've used for almost 25 years. Registration Friday from 3 to 7 p.m. And then we do a late registration early Saturday morning starting at 5 a.m. Different at Belton. We use a boat for takeoff. So we're always looking for John McCalmont and the Skeeter. Look for the American flag. Listen for John. But we will do a controlled takeoff. Weather looks perfect for Saturday. And just one key there, those who have fished Belton, those who haven't, the park is small. So we always try to get especially with the Friday practice day, if you find a ramp that's close to Temple Lake Park, you can utilize it Saturday morning. Just idle over to official takeoff because it is controlled. It just helps with the congestion in the park in the afternoon. Plenty of bank there for weigh-in, no problem. Just come up to the pavilion. You can't miss the weigh-in trailer. But really neat facility, great lake. It's got water back in it. We haven't been there in a few years. It's been too low, so boat ramps are back in the water. Be real interested to see what our guest has to say about this place.
Yeah, and of course we have an official practice day on Friday.
We do.
And what's the most important thing to do before you practice?
Register. So if you're gonna use the lake's off limits Monday through Thursday. We have an official practice day this season, which is Friday. If you want to utilize that practice day, you must be registered. So this week you can call the office, or just real simple, go to basschamps.com, click on entry forms, and you can sign up online. You're good to go. You don't have to do anything else until that afternoon. You need to come by, obviously, and draw a boat number, and potentially participate in Skeeter, Big Bass Friday. $1,000 goes to the largest catch.
$1,000 goes to the person who brings in the biggest bass on Friday. Not that you want to bring in your big bass on Friday.
Oops, I messed up, but I'm going to get paid $1,000. So I love it.
Now, we've got a giveaway that we need to give away from our last podcast with AJ, who was talking all things Garmin. And I've watched that like 3 times, still downloading all of that information.
That's a lot there.
Yeah, we're going to do that at the end of this podcast. We'll give that away. And then also, are we going to do a giveaway this week?
Oh, absolutely. Our good friends at Pure Fishing.
Hey.
We have a brand new Revo.
Nice.
So we'll tell everybody how they can win that as well in this podcast.
And, the way you win that, obviously, is to share this with your friends, comment in the YouTube post, and also like the video. And the odds are really good at winning on this because we don't get a whole lot of people commenting in the YouTube video. So it's great odds to win. And we'll go over all of that at the end of the podcast. Also, we'll have a secret word to get an extra flip on Friday night to win prizes if you're fishing the tournament at Belton. And we'll probably let our guest maybe come up with that word. Speaking of guests, let's get this guy in.
Definitely.
Actually, speaking of winning $1,000 on our Big Bass Skeeter Friday, this guy right here fishing with Charles Whitehead on our Cedar Creek tournament. Charles, your partner JJ, won $1,000. You needed that big bass on tournament day.
And I know we really needed that one, and unfortunately, I think we had one maybe just as big on, and it come off that cost us some money, but it happens. That's part of fishing.
Oh man, that's part of fishing. JJ Larson, this guy, Central Texas, he's been fishing these lakes his entire life. He and Charles Whitehead are currently second in the Angler of the Year race, which is probably the most coveted um, prize award, bragging rights you can get on Bass Champs. You guys did great on LBJ at our last tournament. We featured your partner Charles on the podcast. He really broke LBJ down like a master for us. So, JJ, you got a lot of pressure on you right now, man. We appreciate you spending some time with us. And to top all of that off, you were fishing with your dad last weekend in a tournament on Belton, and tell us how it went.
That's right. We had a great day last weekend. We brought in a little over 20 pounds and won another tournament last weekend out there. 20 pounds on Belton. Anytime you can get that magic 20 out there, you're going to be in contention. And, we just had a great day. The weekend before, me and Charles fished out there too. Brought in a little over 17. So Belton's in good shape right now. It's fishing really good.
So let me get this straight, JJ. You won last weekend on Belton. You had a high finish the weekend before Belton, and now you're about to tell us how Belton's fishing in the tournament, probably the biggest tournament you're going to fish on Belton this year.
That's right, man. Oh, man. Belton's in really good shape. I mean, it's probably fishing just as about as good as it ever has, in my opinion. I mean, there's a lot of fish in the lake right now, and a lot of fish getting caught. Y'all are going to have a busy weigh in with a lot of limits brought to the scale. That's for sure.
Man, that is awesome. Well, break down some of the patterns that you were fishing last weekend. Don't give me any specific spots, but kind of give us an overview on what you think it's going to take to win this tournament.
Well, anybody who's been on Belton the last 2 weeks, there's been a killer shad spawn first thing in the morning. And I mean, it's the lake's 3 foot low, so there's a lot of water everywhere. And it's the good thing about it right now is it's fishing really big. You can go way up the cow house, you can go up the Leon, and everywhere in between. And the bait is just running the bank. It's pretty much just coming down to landing on the right stretch at the right time. Those big ones have definitely been biting that first hour of the morning. But then there's been a second window of opportunity for them right before weigh-in, that 2 to 3 o'clock hour. And then big ones, it seems like they get hungry again right before weigh-in, and that's when you have a shot at catching one of those, Lake Belton 4 to 5 pound bass, which is what you need to separate yourself on that lake. It's always been notorious for, 2 and a quarters. Those are pretty common, and you need that 4 to 5 pound bite to put you in check range. And if you get 2 of those bites, then you're thinking about winning the thing.
Very nice.
How many keepers over the last two tournaments, or let me rephrase it, how many times are you culling in these tournaments? I mean, when you say fishing's good, what would I
think,
expect?
man, we've probably culled, I would say, in the last two tournaments, 20 to 30 times. I mean, we're catching 50 to 70 fish a day.
Man,
It's
that's
really
old school. Those
fishing
are
good.
old school Belton numbers there. I
It's one of
love it.
those times where the day's never getting boring. I mean, you're just constantly, reeling them in. It's just like Belton is. You need that bigger bite. There's two approaches. You can play the weed them out game and sit there and stay kind of small swim bait, spinner bait deal, and try and weed out those 2 pounders and run into a 5 pounder, or you can go big. And there's been some big fish getting caught on glide baits and stuff like that, and swinging for that little bit bigger bite, which is what it takes to win.
I love it. I got something else on my mind. When we had your partner on for a few weeks ago for LBJ, he kept stressing, and he was stressed that he needed a really early boat number. Well, lo and behold, you drew like the last boat out or very late, and of course you guys adjusted. So let's go over that same scenario. It sounds like there's a killer shad spawn going on across the entire lake or most of the lake. But let's just say you and I are fishing this and we draw like you and Charles did. Drew the last boat number. We draw the last boat number. What adjustments are you're my guide? So what are we doing?
Man, I would really utilize that Friday practice and see where that shad spawn bite was. And those fish, they're not going too far from where the food is, and they know they've been there every morning the last few weeks. So I think they just pull off a little bit, and I would fish a little slower around those high percentage areas where those big ones have been. And that 2 to 3 o'clock hour, get back to what you think is your best water and try and make it happen there.
I like it. How about John mentioned that you guys had already cashed in on the Skeeter money on Friday on $1,000. What's it? What are you gonna have in your live well before you're pretty confident, or what do you think it's gonna take to win Friday's big bass?
I think somebody, if you catch one over 5 pounds, definitely, don't just let it go, and I'd bring it up to weigh in. But I think it's going to take one close to 7 pounds, probably.
7 pounder, man, that's a good freaking fish. That's awesome.
Well, the most important question is, JJ, what are you going to have in your live well on Saturday to win the tournament?
Man, I hope. Well, it's a catch-22 because that $1,000 is pretty sweet, but I'd like to save her for Saturday for sure. But our goal is to shake them off Friday and see if we can make it work on Saturday.
So what five fish limit do you think you're going to have on Saturday to get a chance of that $25,000 guaranteed?
Man, I think you're going to need 23 pounds, probably around that mark, to win it. But there is still really big ones in Belton. I mean, there's been a few tournaments this year where I've seen some 10-plus pound fish weighed in, which is, you get one of those on Belton, that's like catching a 15-pounder anywhere else. But, if somebody has one of those big special bites, it could run up a little higher than 23. But I think 23 pounds and about 14 to get a check.
Now, is there any second or third wave spawners still moving up on Belton, or is that pretty much over?
Man, the water temperature that I've seen has been 67 to 71 around there. So there's definitely probably still a few on beds, some later spawners, but they're most of what we've been catching kind of post spawn.
Man,
it's crazy. It spawns here and almost over. Well, it depends though. I mean, that lake's a little, obviously, quite a bit further south, John, than where we live. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean they get a lot warmer weather down there, and LBJ, there were still a lot of spawners on beds. I mean, we walked the marina and saw 22 pounds sitting on beds over there.
How many big fish?
But you just never know. I mean, every once in a while, especially down by the dam where that water stays a little cooler, sometimes you can have a late wave of big bass move up.
And what's cool about Belton too is, you've got the X factor in there, which is the smallmouth, and they kind of can be behind the largemouth sometimes too. And there's some big ones showing up. We've caught some 4 to 5 pound smallies out there in the last few weeks, so that's kind of a outlier deal. And I know y'all announced the championship on Texoma, so for anyone on Belton this weekend, this is kind of like a little practice run. It's like I'm a junior.
Man, do you think the Smalley bite could play into winning on Saturday?
I really think you could see the winning stringer could have 1 or 2 smallmouth mixed in there. I don't think 5 of them will win it, but definitely you can cash a check with 5, but you still need that big largemouth bite.
Man. All right, so what's your prediction, JJ? What you told me before, was it 23 pounds to win?
I think 23 to win it, 14 for a check.
23 to win, 14 to get a check. Jeff, what do you think?
Man, before you asked, I was going to say 22. I'd be feeling pretty confident, but JJ knows a little more and been on the water. But I'm going to stick with 22, and I'm going to go with 13.5 on the bottom of the money line.
Yeah, I'm going to totally blow it out. I'm going to say Belton's going to be on fire. I'm going to say there's going to be an 8-pound kicker in a sack that's going to push it to 24.50. And I think after listening to JJ right now, I think it's going to take 15 plus to get a check.
Man, it could we've seen it there before, and based on what I'm hearing, I love a busy weigh-in. It makes it a lot of fun.
It does. Yeah, it makes it a lot of fun. Okay, JJ, you know all about our flipping contest on Friday night. So what we always like to do is let our guest pick our secret word. Now, if you're listening to the podcast, this secret word will get you an extra flip on Friday night for prizes that we have and there's there's some great prizes. There's Abu Garcia reels. There's entry fees to the Berkeley Big Bass tournament. There's a whole bunch of cool stuff. So come,
Classic coolers, all kinds of stuff.
yeah, coolers from classic Buick Arlington GMC. What's our secret word, JJ? Come up with something good, something that's Belton-ish.
I'm gonna go with Smalley. That'll be our
Smalley.
secret word.
We're gonna see a 5-pound smallmouth come across the stage, aren't we?
Man, I think you would.
Man, that is awesome. And in full transparency, because everything is transparent in this world, a big thanks to JJ. This is our second time to do this podcast. Because we had an audio upload problem with our first one, and JJ's being a great sport, and he's coming back on and doing it all again with us. So in our last attempt, we gave away our Garmin prize pack for the
20%
AJ
off.
podcast, for the 20% off. If you haven't listened to that podcast with AJ Jr. on all things Garmin, man, he breaks it down so well and had such great information on it. I don't remember who won it, but somebody won it, and we put a post underneath their name. So
You did.
So if you commented on that, please go and check it out, because we do have a winner for that, and we've got a big prize this week. So remember, JJ, even though you're on this podcast, you can still comment on this podcast and have a chance at a brand new Abu Garcia reel.
Absolutely.
Y'all doing that.
So all you have to do is you have to comment on the YouTube channel video, because that's where we draw our prize. You have to share it with a friend on a platform like Facebook or Instagram or one of those. And you also have to like the video. And this is how we can keep knowing what you guys like and keep sharing great information. If you do those three things, then you have a chance at winning a brand new Abu Garcia reel. And generally, we only have 20 to 30 comments. So the odds of winning that are really, really high. So JJ, make sure you go comment on that. And you can have a Abu Garcia reel. And then when you catch the big bass, you can be in the Abu Garcia big bass bonus.
There you go.
Right. If only it works out that way all the time, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, man. Really appreciate your time today. Really extended time. Thank you.
Y'all for having me on. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate y'all running the best tournament circuit in Texas.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Hey, he said that, and I recorded it, so we're going to keep using that over and over again.
There you go.
Yeah. Thank you for your time.
All right, we'll see you guys Friday night at registration for the Belton event this weekend. Temple State Park, correct, Jeff?
Temple Lake Park.
Temple Lake Park.
Yep.
Man, it's I was trying to remember. I think it's been, back when I was fishing with my grandpa down in Lake Waco, we fished tournaments on Belton all the time, and that park was there back then. That park's been there forever, hasn't it?
Yeah, old school park, real nice people run it, and looking at the Corps of Engineers there, and looking forward to being there this weekend.
Yeah. Don't forget, if you're practicing on Friday, make sure that you are registered to fish the tournament before you practice. And other than that, man, I'm looking forward to all of JJ's predictions coming true and seeing a lot of big fish wade in at Belton this weekend. Thanks for watching the Bass Champs Talk podcast. Don't forget to comment, like, and share for your chance at that Abu Garcia reel. And I hope to see everybody this weekend to Lake Belton.